Osteroth, O Osteroth, give us the word that we may bring the golem to life to rescue us in this our hour of need. Hey folks, at the movies with Film Brown here. I'm going to watch a very beautiful German expressionist film, 1920. It's a silent film. Cut it some slack. Some of the best films that were ever made were silent films. The Golem, Paul Wegener's actual second version of this film. He shot it in 1915 originally, and that print unfortunately has been lost. This is his remake. It was photographed by Karl Freund, who you might know in the Universal incarnation in the United States, shooting, well, he directed The Mummy, directed Mad Love, and he was one of the great cameramen of all time. He shot Murnau's Last Laugh. This film has all the hallmarks of German expressionism. Great uses of textures, shadow, the sets, very odd, very strange geographical shapes. The plot of this film, of the Golem, if you're not aware of the Golem myth, the Golem was a stone clay creature who was endowed with magical life by Rabbi Loew in the Middle Ages to rescue the Jews in Prague from the ghettos and from a pogrom that the emperor had envisioned for the Jews. And by summoning Osteroth, Rabbi Loew was very much into the Kabbalistic Jewish tradition. He gets a word that he puts onto an amulet. It looks like a cookie cutter with a star on it, Star of David. Puts that onto the chest of the clay golem. The golem is played by Paul Wegener, who is the director of this film as well. And this creature does the bidding of Rabbi Loew. Cuts wood, does a lot of interesting things, makes a good show for the emperor, and as a matter of fact, saves the Jews from the lot that was projected for them. The Golem myth is quite attractive to a lot of other people who would do Golem-like things with that figure. Because the whole idea of an inanimate object who is endowed with life, a soulless being, who does the bidding of a maker, or who, through not having a soul, runs amok and does horrible things, or is misunderstood. Well, if that plot sounds familiar, should. It's the basic story of Frankenstein. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the novel, borrows a lot of the mythology from the Golem. And likewise, Frankenstein, the James Whale version, there are Golem-like qualities here. Likewise, the idea of the robot that the scientist creates and sets to do his bidding. And usually, because man should not play God, there's always a great line out of these kinds of stories. Those monsters, well, those beings that one created to do one's bidding, turns back on yourself. If you remember the scene that was cut out of the Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein by James Whale, the scene where the little girl is throwing the flowers into the water and the Frankenstein creature is all entranced by it, and then he picks the little girl up and throws her into the water and she drowns. That scene is sort of echoed, or that is an echo, if you will, of the Golem. I'm not going to tell you how the Golem is destroyed in this film, but it kind of parallels some of the use of a child in the Frankenstein story. Golem, wonderful film, beautiful in so many ways. The black and white photography is just absolutely stunning. Karl Freund really did a fantastic job. The set design is incredible. Set design was by Edgar Ulmer, Edgar Ulmer, remember Black Cat, the Universal days, he did Detour, Bluebeard. We'll talk about Bluebeard ourselves a little bit down the line. One of the great, well, directors, set designers who just really never caught on that well in the United States, but he, quite a talent. The Golem, 1920, right after Caligari. It's right in the mix there with the German Expressionist films. Paul Wegener. Roll 'em, Smokey.